All right, we ready to roll? I just want to start by saying thank you to Bronco Nation. That was an unbelievable environment out there tonight. Even through the course of the first half when we didn't do a whole lot well, we turned the ball over. We didn't play as well as we obviously did in the second half on defense, really in all three phases. But can't tell Bronco Nation how much they were a part of that comeback, the way they were in the second half, the way that stadium was electric. And that's this team, this program, we appreciate you for that. The Albertson Stadium is one of the greatest venues in all of college football, and it was that tonight. We thank Bronco Nation for that. Super excited for the team to find the will from within inside, to come back in the second half and play the way we did. Super excited for the coaches. They did some unbelievable things at halftime in terms of, there were some adjustments at halftime, but really there wasn't a ton of things. We turned the ball over in the first half, as we talked about. At halftime, we knew Ashton, if we're going to get ourselves back in a hurry like we needed to, Ashton was going to be a big part of that. And Ashton just needed a few minutes there after the second fumble in the locker room at halftime. We very well knew he was going to be the guy, one of them, to help us lead, get back into the game and eventually take the lead. Very proud of him. It's not always going to be perfect, but really proud of how Ashton persevered tonight. Really proud of how the quarterbacks played together. We knew this was going to need to be a team victory. This team was coming off a bye week. They certainly had some new things, some new wrinkles that they did on defense and on offense. But the biggest part of that team victory was seeing how the two quarterbacks worked off of each other tonight. And we're willing to do whatever, to help this team win. That's who this team is. We're excited, for this team to continue to mature and to continue to grow forward. We're 2-0 in conference play, and we're going to keep the 1-0 mentality one day at a time. It was really cool experience to be a part of that comeback tonight and to see the players lead themselves into that, to see the coaches will the players back into that tonight. That's who this team is capable of being, and we're excited to build off of that as we move forward.
You guys just looked like a different team in the second half. What did you say at halftime?
It's nothing more than who this team is capable of being. We didn't allow them to score in the second half. We certainly, on defense, played much better in critical downs situations, whether it be third downs or fourth downs. Again, there were guys that had to leave the game. Guys stepped up and played in the game. We adjusted personnel in certain situations and moved some guys around to continue to be able, especially up front, at points in the secondary. Ty went down, had to shuffle the secondary. Ty was not going to come out of the game. Ty jumped back in there, moved some guys around in the front to continue to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. It was a tremendous job by the coaches and the players. And obviously on offense, we felt pretty strong. In the locker room at halftime, we'd been able to do some things in the run game. We showed flashes in the pass game. We just needed to make sure we took care of the ball, and was very pleased that we did that. In the second half, obviously we didn't turn the ball over, and it proved that, that was a big piece for us, scoring points in the second half and not in the first half.
Both quarterbacks were able to find rhythms at different points of the game. Both kind of had a little early struggles, but how would you evaluate kind of how you manage the rotation? Is this something you think will continue for future games?
Yeah, again, they both worked off of each other very well today. Obviously, once we got going and we eliminated the turnovers in the first half, it was awesome to see. I thought Bush did a great job of mixing it up. And it wasn't just like, hey, TJ's going to go in the game and run the ball because that's what everyone's going to think. Maddox ain't just going to go in the game to throw the ball. That's what everyone thinks. Those guys are capable of doing a lot of things. One guy can't just do one thing. That's the cool part about it. And it was awesome to see how we were able to get drives going, how we pushed tempo, how we changed personnel, not only the quarterbacks, but, from how many wide receivers, tight ends, tailbacks were in the game. That's what we're capable of. That's what Bush is built. That's what our offense is built. And we just got to continue to work each and every day to put the pieces in place to build off of what we did today. There's plenty more too that we can do, within our offense, and it's going to be cool to see these guys do it. I thought the O-line obviously did a really good job. We rushed the ball for 262 yards once we committed to the run game and that we were going to run it, and we took care of the ball. Ashton got explosive there, early on in the second half and had a long run. I thought Breezy jumped in there and did a good job as well.
We can point to halftime, but if you back it up even to the end of that second half, you guys are down 27-7, ball in the 40. It's 4th and 6. There wasn't a lot of momentum for you guys at that point in time. How big was that moment? What went into that?
It was a huge play. Huge play. 4th and 6. It's a critical point in the game going into halftime to cut that lead down. To get to 14 prior to and then come out and know, okay, we get a stop when we come out. This thing could change really quick. It's a one-score game. It's what we talked to the team about, how we finished the first half, how we were going to start the second, and don't be surprised when we find ourselves in a position. And the guys believed, and they went out there and they did it.
Tyler Crow, what did he? In all honesty, Andy, that it seemed a little flat there in the first half. And Tyler Crow's a little bit of a spark there for you, it looked like.
Yeah, T. Crow could have very well jumped in the game and played tailback too. We were just talking about that when we walked down the hall. He's proven to be, an efficient ball carrier. He had a really explosive physical play on our sideline, receiving the ball out of the backfield. That's who T. Crow is. He jumps back in, he gets healthy, he wants to be on the special teams, he jumps in there and he goes. There was a point in the game, too, when we had a conversation, and I was like, we're going to do this, and we need you. We need you to help us lead into it. And he did a great job, not only on the field, but on the sideline, too, and he brought that spark. And we all know when he gets in the game, he's going to do anything and everything he can, to have an impact on the game.
There was a time there where it felt like you guys were just going to ride out Maddox. It seemed like you had 28 to 30-something straight snaps. What was there a thought of doing that, and then going to Talon? What was the decision there in that moment?
There's definitely, again, both guys can operate and work the different components of the offense. We knew that to get back in the game, we were going to need to run the ball well. We were going to need to get the ball in Ashton's hands. The box gets thinner when TG is in the game because of the run numbers. But ultimately, too, TG is very capable. And we saw TG make some plays today, not only running the ball, but passing the ball. And what an exciting play he had there when he leaped over the guy. That was a big-time play. I'm sure that's going to end up on a picture somewhere around here. There was a situation where we had a mishap in the backfield and down in the red zone, and TG put his foot in the ground and he turned a bad situation into a good situation that probably nobody else on really either one of those sidelines could have did.
Was that the 1-yard touchdown run? Was that kind of a broken play then?
Yeah, we just had a miscue on that, and obviously there's not a lot of people that could have did and turned that play into what he did. So very excited about, again, how Bush put it together. He created balance. Like he was talking about, there was a time when, okay, we're just going to throw the ball and we're going to put Mad Dog in there. No, Bush went right back to who we are. We're going to be a physical team up front. And he used the whole offense. He used both quarterbacks. He got the ball to the playmakers. EMAC, had some explosive plays today and some critical moments. That was awesome to see.
Andy, you look at back on Monday, we talked about the snowball effect for your defense, and it was limiting big plays. In the first half, you guys allowed 10 explosives. In the second half, 2. Why were we so effective?
You know what? It just comes down to little things. It just comes down to little things. At halftime, the guys decided, it is going to be about the things that we work on every single day, the fundamentals and techniques that make the scheme. It's never about anything else. It really isn't. And they made a decision in the locker room. And obviously, it was awesome to see that they went all in on that. They were very consistent. They were coaching each other on the field in the second half. If somebody wasn't doing something the way we had done it in practice, they were on each other in the second half. That's player-led. That's a team growing and maturing. And that's what we want to continue to see, because that was exciting. We had some big-time stops. We ended up going on third downs. We helped, they were 4 of 12. They had 2 fourth downs they tried. They didn't get either one of them. We had 2 fourth downs. We converted them, and there's plenty of area to improve. We got to keep improving. But we were just talking about TG on the busted play and how he turned that into a touchdown. I mean, we're 4 for 4 in the red zone on TDs. And, again, that's what got us back into the game. The guys believing in it. The guys doing everything they could to do their job and have an impact. Again, I couldn't be more proud of these players and these coaches. We did have a good week of practice. We had a fun week of practice. Now how we build off of this and we continue to mature and grow as a family, that will determine, obviously how successful we'll be as we move forward. But I can tell you this, the determination of that team and how bought in that team is, how much they love each other. You don't do things like that if you don't love each other, if you don't care about each other, if you're not willing to fight for each other. Most teams would have folded up. And, again, not just the players, the coaches, everybody involved tonight. And, again, Bronco Nation was a huge part of that because the stadium was electric. There was one part when the referees came over, too, and were asking about the volume within the stadium and how loud the crowd was. And can't do anything about the crowd, but they asked us to turn down the volume in the stadium. That's never really happened before. That was pretty cool.
5 weeks we've been hearing, the product's almost there, it just comes down to consistency. How nice was it to get that consistency in the second half finally?
Yeah, we saw the team. We saw the team that we have. And you're 100% right. That's why I couldn't be any more proud. I know we coulda, shoulda, woulda in the first half, right? But the thing we can focus on and we can draw from is who that team was in the second half. More importantly, how we can be that team. From one quarter to the next, from one half to the next, and that's what it's going to require. This is a conference that has some really good teams in it, and as we move through the conference 1 week at a time, that's what it's going to take.
I know that we're kind of waiting on the sample size, maybe ask a question like this, and I know he wasn't perfect tonight, but when it comes to Ashton Jeanty, do you have the best running back in the country right now, Andy?
Yeah, he went over, what was it, 1,000 all-purpose?
1,000 all-purpose.
Tonight. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting. Again, I remember what he did in the second half tonight. That's all I'm going to say. The way that guy responded and the way he came back, the way his teammates believed in him, the way he believed in himself, all day, every day. It's pretty cool to see.
You said your guys made a decision at halftime. Is there something about this program, this place, what you said to them, that allowed them to make that decision when their backs were against the wall?
I mean, ultimately, in the first half, we stopped ourselves on drives. We gave the ball up. On defense, we weren't playing the way we practice. And the guys made a decision that they were going to focus in. They were going to lead each other. The coaches did an unbelievable job at halftime. There were some things schematically that we adjusted at halftime. There were some personnel adjustments we had to make because we had some guys go down. But ultimately, in this game, it always just comes down to the fine details of the fundamentals and techniques that make the scheme, bottom line. And the maturity and the discipline to do those things over and over through the course of a game. We talked to the team this week. Each play lasts 4 to 6 seconds. Each play lasts 4 to 6 seconds. Building a mental endurance to go through the course of a game with how many TV timeouts we have, they're probably like 3 hours and 25, 3.5 hours. Go through 3.5 hours and lock in how many ever times, 65 to 70 times for 4 to 6 seconds and be our best. And they did that in the second half.
We talked a lot about, that if your defense could just get that one stop at the end of a couple other games, the record would look vastly different. After you guys go up 8, Mariam McCoy gets that pick on Chevin Cordero, who doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot. How big was that moment? How big was that for?
Yeah, it was
a new
huge.
guy on your roster?
And then you know, that's a guy that we need. We need Amarion to keep growing. He took a step this week. He wasn't perfect tonight, but he took a huge step this week, and it's awesome to see. In his commitment, because of what he has seen, he's a guy that we need. He's a guy that's very capable, a guy that has a lot of talent, and he's understanding what it looks like here and what it needs to look like every single day so that he can be successful and have an impact on the game like that. It was awesome to see the defense step up at the end and get 4 straight stops. That was big time. And it was the rush, it was the front, working with the coverage. Thought the coaches did a good job of mixing it up with, Coach D did a good job mixing it up with how he was calling plays in the second half. Again, he made some adjustments at halftime, and it was really cool to see how the players executed those things in the second half.
This win tonight tied for the second largest comeback in program history in FBS era. What does it mean to be a part of that?
Yeah, Patrick was talking about that as one of the biggest comeback victories in front of one of our largest crowds. I think it was the second largest crowd we've had here at Albertson Stadium. You know what? Just how happy for the players and for the coaches to will themselves back into that. It's not easy. To dig down inside, obviously the score right before the half helped tremendously. That's a different deal if we're coming out. And to be able to get those stops on defense, and when we started stacking up those stops on defense and the offense started pushing the ball down the field, the energy on the sideline just rose. And to feel the guys lead each other, that was the coolest part about it. For them to encourage each other, and it was both sides of the ball helping each other out. For them to take charge in between the third going into the fourth quarter. It was pretty cool to see this team take a step forward and lead themselves. You don't get to be a part of things like this a whole lot. Usually, it's very hard to fight your way back in to games like this, but it speaks to the people in this program.
EMAC had big receptions from both quarterbacks. Just, what can you say about his play today? I mean, I know he's been doing this for you all season, but, didn't matter who was in. He was making the big plays.
Yeah. He went for, 170? I think that was that a career? That's a career high for him today. The first one there, the long one, that was huge. EMAC's continued to do that, whether it's in practice or in games. And this is not a guy that's just doing it on the field now. This is a guy that is growing a lot as a young man. And I know those are the things that everybody doesn't get to see all the time, but who EMAC is right now, compared to the young man he was when he got here this is a guy that is going to do unbelievable things. We're proud of him. There's other wide receivers that, made some big-time plays tonight as well. Again, we talked about T. Crow catching the ball out of the backfield and had a big-time explosive play on our sideline.
You played linebacker here, obviously. What's it like to watch a kid like Andrew Simpson come along so fast for your defense?
Yeah, he took a big step. And this game plan was quite different. He's standing right over here, so I'm going to make him blush a little bit. But this game plan was quite different. What we needed to do with this game plan was different, and he played a lot of different spots. It may not look like that, but the things that went into this plan required him to be really diligent to make it come together, from front structures to coverages. We played some coverages, but had various fronts that went along with them that adjusted things that he and others had to do. And he did a really good job of that on top of being productive. And so we're looking forward to seeing him continue to grow, continue to create a process each and every week that's going to allow him to be a linebacker that leads, that communicates, that leads a defense, that gets guys lined up, and that is efficient as a player he was tonight. Proud of him.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
questions for Andrew Simpson.
San Jose State scored on 5 straight drives in the first half. Did they score again in the second half? How do you explain that?
We just kind of knew it was going to be on us, like as a defense. If we just do our job and just stop beating ourselves, and we'd be okay in the second half, and just do better. And even if we have a bad play, just respond from it and learn from it, and just do better the next one. And taking it one play at a time definitely helped us because we were just looking at it. Just
Go ahead. We've been here for 5 weeks. The defense is almost there. It's just a matter of putting it all together. 110 yards in the second half. Is that what you think the defense could look like in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we could be better even from learning from some things in the second half as well. So just taking steps every day, just trying to be better as a unit, all 11, just on the same page. And no matter who's in, we had some young guys come in and step up for some guys that went down. So we just made sure that everybody takes one step at a time and does their job.
Andrew, what happened in the first half compared to what happened in the second half? I mean, maybe it was simple, but what happened in that locker room, man? Because it was a different defense.
I mean, this is a brotherhood. So, like, we just looked at each other and we just decided we weren't going to lose today. Like, we just wanted to do everything in our power, offense, defense. We knew that the first half didn't go our way, but we knew we were beating ourselves as well. So if we just stopped beating ourselves, then we'd just be a whole lot better in the second half. I mean, everybody was up talking, trying to just, like, from the youngest to the oldest guy, everybody was just all in. Everybody was all in, and we knew coming in the second half it was going to be a different ball game.
Andy said he tries to get a message across that this game is 60 to 75 plays of 4 to 6 seconds. How often does he preach that, and was that something that was kind of reiterated in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of just know that it's going to be a long game. So, like, take it one play at a time. And whether the play goes good or bad, we got to know that the next play is the most important one and not the next drive, not the next play, just the very play you're in. So we just try to stay in the moment every single play this game.
The tackling in the first half, I think some of it was them and having a quarterback like Cordero who can move. But did you guys look at that as mistakes that you guys could fix?
We knew they had, like, good players on their offense, good, like, shifty guys that can make plays, but we knew, once again, it was just on us. Like, if we wanted to get off the field, we had guys in position, whether we made the play or not. Like, we just had to correct in the second half and just do better in that aspect.
What are you most proud of your defense tonight? I mean, first half, missed tackles. Couldn't get off the field on third down. There was a lot going against you guys, and then you fixed it all. But, like, what were you just most proud of your defense tonight?
I mean, I'm proud of how dudes just came together. Like, it could have easily went the other way. Like, it was looking bad at the start, and we all just kind of looked at each other, and we knew that it wasn't us. Like, it wasn't us that the team that we knew we had that was on the field. So we knew that we just had to respond and just come together. So I'm happy how we came together as, like, brothers and decided that we weren't going to lose today.
It's obviously an up and down game for fans to watch.
Yeah.
Emotionally, what was the roller coaster ride like as a player?
So we appreciate the fans, like, so much because they could have easily, like, got quiet, or there's a shift in momentum and they could have got quiet, but they're on it all game, and it was really loud in there, and they helped us a lot. Like, second half, there's a few offsides penalties that got us good field position and got us, like, excited and rocking. So we just fed off them, and if they keep doing that, like, it's just going to be good for us.
After UCF and after Memphis, how nice or how much of a confidence booster is it to be able to hold a lead the way you guys did tonight?
Gives us a ton of confidence if we're playing from the lead, but tonight we had to fight from behind, so I don't really know how to look at that right now.
You guys kept getting stops, though, and then you guys go up 8, and Marion gets that pick. It just kind of felt like the exclamation point on things, the mark on things. How cool was it to see Marion get that play?
Dope. Like, Amarion's one of my closest friends. Like, he came here, transferred in, and he bought in, and the guys love him, and he's playing really well. So we're just excited to see him and continue to grow and just be who we know he could be. And
I know it's the other side of the ball, but Ashton had 2 fumbles in the first half, and he ends up with over 180 total yards, and that game, you guys don't win that game. What do you think of his response? And I don't know if you saw him or said anything to him during the game either, but yeah, what do you think?
I mean, we just told him to keep his head up. We know the type of player he is, the type of running back he can be, and he's going to be for us going forward. So we try to just flip the page. We know he fumbled, but we just knew that if we just picked him up and held it down on defense, that he would eventually just come through for us like always. So.
That at halftime, I think you guys had your backs against the wall as much as you could, outside
proud of our guys because we just looked at each other and we knew that if we were going to win, it was going to be on us. Like, nobody, it didn't matter the scheme, didn't matter who said what, didn't matter, like, who was out there. We knew that it was going to be on the players, and we got together and we decided that we were going to play hard for each other and just go out there and fight hard. So.
You guys are locked in or whatever, but did you notice the lights going on and off? And I mean, like, it was a hell of an atmosphere.
Yeah, it's good vibes today. Like, everybody was excited. It was loud in there. The lights. It was our first time seeing it like live too. So we feed off all of that, all the energy that the crowd brings, all the energy that we brought, our coaches brought. Like, we just decided to keep staying on it every play. And even if it was a TV timeout, we just kept the energy high and just understood that we had next play.
The coaches will probably mention it the next week, but in the second half, you were saying you guys showed the defense you can beat. Why do you think it took 6 games?
It's defense. Like, you can play well 65 snaps and do bad 5, and you had a bad game. So we just have to be consistent, and if everybody buys into the consistency that it takes to play defense here and just doing your job every play and making the plays that come to you, it'll come be good going forward. So.
Was it sack? Was it a week ago when that game, so much happened? Like, how good did it feel to, I know you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the quarterback. How good did it feel to be the quarterback today?
Felt great. Felt great. Just doing what I can do for a team to help us win. Coach D puts me in a position to do a lot of different things, whether it's rushing or coverage. So I'm just proud of the team and how we just responded today. So.
And you said you threw a lot this week.
Mm-hmm.
How much did he throw at you?
Well, I kind of switched positions back and forth, and then once Dimitri went down, we kind of needed to make another adjustment in the game. So just whether it's rushing the edge or like playing interior, there's some plays that I needed to know my job and get the other guys in line as well. So that just took some time, but it worked out today.
Anything else?
Thank you, guys.
Questions for Ashton?
Ashton, beginning of the first half, what goes through your mind after that second fumble? How do you bounce back from that, man?
It's definitely tough, but I mean, it's just tested my character. When things are going good, it's always easy, but when things go wrong, it's like, how are you going to respond? And shout out to my teammates. They did nothing but lift me up, and to be honest, without them, I don't think I would have been able to finish the game without their encouragement. I mean, just everybody coming to me and nothing but words of uplifting just gave me all the confidence in the world. And, I just had to regroup and come back to myself because I knew that it's bigger than me that, to play up to the standard.
What's it like to go through these learning experiences? I mean, you really haven't been on campus that long here. It seems like a while, but it really hasn't been that long. So to be in those moments as a true sophomore, and what's it like to go through all this stuff in front of 37,000 people?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've worked hard enough to put myself in this position, and, what comes with it is mistakes. And obviously you'd like to take those away, but, I personally just got to be better. But, as much as I'm getting the ball, I mean, the best of the best, it happens. But like I said before, it's how you respond.
We talked about response. I don't know if anyone's had more of a whirlwind week, at least on the outside, than Taylor Green, and what he did in the second half to lead you guys to victory a little bit. What did you say to him after the game? How proud are you of him?
Tremendously proud of him. I mean, just to go through all the stuff that he's been going through as of lately, it's a testament to his character and the person that he is. He's not going to let all the outside noise, all the, things that come his way stop him. And, I told him, I was proud of him. We were talking to each other the whole game. And, it's just great having a guy like that on your team.
When he saw you hurdle, did he kind of make a bet? Kind of go do it himself?
Nah, but we always talk about it, you know. Like he teaches me different things, and I teach him different things as a ball carrier. You know, we both want to see each other win. Everybody on this team wants to see each other win.
How do you evaluate his hurdling skills?
You know, I think it's pretty good, but I think I still got him. You know.
Well, just, you know, both quarterbacks today, you know, were able to find a rhythm. You know, just how well did they work off each other, and how nice was it to have both of them, you know, kind of firing on all cylinders at times for you guys?
I mean, yeah, like I said before, you know, they're both great players. They both bring different things to this offense, and you know, when their time came to execute, they both executed and made big time plays for us, and they will continue to do that over the season.
You get so many opportunities and so many touches. A guy like Tyler Crow is lucky to get one or two, right? What did you think of his? You know, he had a couple plays in the first half that kind of sparked that end of the half drive. It really kind of felt like it might have put you guys back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, you see the way he practices, you see the way he goes about meetings and everything. I mean, whenever his number is called, he steps up to the plate and he helps the team in any way he can.
What is it about his energy, though, too? I mean, he's never changed. He's always been this way. But what is it about his energy?
You know, I think it's the mullet. It just brings something different to him. But nah, he's just he always is like. When we talk about it, like we talk about all the time, bring the juice. Like he's always a guy that brings the juice. Like nobody has to motivate him. He's the one motivating others. So it's infectious, you know, to have a guy like that on the team. It just uplifts everybody.
Did the offensive scheme change at all in the second half?
No, not at all. I mean,
Not at all.
nah. I mean, our plan was, you know, to run the ball, run mid zone, and then come back, run pound, and play action, shot plays, and you know, our guys on the perimeter when it came time they made plays, but nothing changed at all.
What was San Jose State's defense doing that allowed the quarterback specifically and you to have big gains up the middle?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was that they were doing anything special. I just think the O-line just did a great job blocking them and you know, IDing the fronts and communicating to help us make those big plays.
We've been hearing all season, you know, just it's a matter of time before it all comes together. It's all so close to coming together. 21-0 in the second half. That sounds like it all came together. How nice was that to see it finally all come together?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I want to shout out to the fans. I mean, second largest crowd in history. We can't do it without them. You know, just it's like they say, it's having that 12th man. You know, false starts, just making noise, just bringing energy to everybody. But the second half just shows us what we can do when everybody's playing together, and you know we're connecting on all cylinders.
Ashton, as much as you can say you guys are down 27-14, you're knocking on the door, the goal line, and then there's obviously something that happened on that handoff. What happened there, and then you kind of threw your hands up in the air after Taylor scored, like, thank God.
Yeah, just had a big run, then another run, and another run after that. So I was pretty gassed. But I mean, me being the type of person I am, I mean, I'm not gonna tap out. Like I don't want anybody else to make the play. I want it to be like left up to me. But Taylor saved me right there. I went the wrong way, but I mean, he just made an amazing play. He does it all the time. So, I mean, after the play, I went to the sideline. I was thanking him, like, you saved me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just awesome to see that, you know, even though it went wrong, he still found a way to make a play for us.
Andy kind of expressed that it was the players who made sure that this game was a comeback and it was a win. What, from your perspective, what happened at halftime? What went down that changed so much for you guys?
I think it was just guys talking to each other, uplifting each other, just relaying the message all the way down, offense, defense, special teams, that, you know, we know they're a great team, but we've been beating ourselves. We beat ourselves that whole half. So if we go out there and we play to our abilities, we play to our standard, then nobody can stop us.
Anything else?
Just, you touched on the fans really quick, but the lights going on and off. I mean, Andy said at one point in time the officials came over and asked him to turn the volume down on some of the stuff they were doing inside the stadium. Like, did you hear, did you feel, did you see, you know, everything that was going on?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I love the energy today. I think it's awesome. I mean, I think some people might have thought it was a distraction, but I thought it was cool, and you know, it got the crowd going, and we need the crowd always in games like this.
Obviously, weeks and they stack on top of each other in football. When you have to deal with losses, it's probably not as fun to come to work or whatever. How necessary was this win so you guys can feel some type of positivity?
It was tremendous. I mean, just everybody coming back together and helping us to win in that second half. But obviously, with a win on the board, you know, everybody's morality and mood and will and want to practice and get better is obviously higher. But, I mean, regardless of whether we win or lose, I mean, we're going to attack practice the same way, with the same mentality to get better and prepare for the next opponent.
Does this feel at all like the San Diego State game from last year? A lot of kind of outside pressure, really bad first half, and then come out in the second and kind of just run all over them?
Honestly, yeah, it feels just like that. Definitely in the way things went throughout the game. But, I mean, just like in that game, everybody came together. You know, it wasn't – I mean, obviously we got great coaches, but it was up to the players to come together and realize what we needed to do.
Is that really just the like, you guys were so good in the second half running ball. Is it just the offensive line, or, I mean, is it how the order in which you call plays, or?
I mean, plays are plays. Obviously, you know, sometimes the right play is called at the right time, but at the same time, it's not about the plays, it's about the players. So definitely got to give it to the O-line every time. When we're able to run the ball like that, you can't give it to anybody else but the O-line.
Maybe this is redundant or whatnot, but you had 167 of them as a team, 262 rushing yards. What goes through your mind when you hear that?
That's what we do. That's Boise State football right there. I mean, that just shows what type of team we are, what mentality we have going in every game. You know, we're gonna run the ball, and you know, and when the time comes, I mean, our guys are gonna make plays on the perimeter for us.
Anything else? All right, thank you all.
Yep.